Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I created this t-shirt for my daughter using printable heat transfer vinyl and regular glitter vinyl. She loved this and it's very long lasting and it just looks so beautiful. I used the new Cricut print and cut feature which allows me to print on a bigger template. So firstly, you need to find a beautiful image. You can use Cricut Design Space, but I wanted an image because it's for personal use, just to use that my daughter likes. I use this website called transparentpng.com where you can get any transparent PNGs to use. They've got many Frozen, Disney, anything you want to search, you can find it on here. I'm going with a Moana theme, so in the search engine box, I just type in Moana and then I should get a few images based on Moana with no background, which are all transparent PNGs. So these two images come up. I do want to go with the second image right here. So now I found the image I want. I'm just going to click on it. I don't like to press download on these websites because you're not sure what you're downloading. So what I do, I just click on the image. I make my screen a bit smaller first and I click on the image and just drag it over to my desktop. So just click on your image, drag it over and it will place it right on your desktop. Because I had it here before from a previous project, it's asking me, do I want to make a copy? So just click yes, but usually it will just drag over perfectly fine. You can see I've done a Frozen one before. And now you go into Cricut Design Space and you're going to start creating this wonderful project. New project as always. So now I've got onto my new project. I need to upload this photo. So I go to upload and upload image and I find that image that I have placed on my desktop. If you want to put it into a folder, you can do so. There's my image. I always go with complex. As you can see, when I click simple, it gives me a lot of contrast to my image. If this is the type of image you're going for, that's fine. It does look cute. Moderately complex gives the same contrast. Complex will give you your image in full color as you see it. You can see there is no background on my image, so I don't have to remove any background. I can just go on to next. And I'm doing a print and cut, so I'm going to click print and cut and continue. And then once I'm on this page, I click the image I want to use and I just add it to my canvas. There we go, beautiful image. I'm sizing it to the size that I need for my project. I'm using A4 paper. If you have bigger than A4 size, you can use a bigger size. And what the key trick to doing these printable heat transfer vinyl, I believe, is adding a slight offset. A very, very, very small offset, which just allows the image to pop a bit more. So you click on offset here and make it extremely small. So sometimes you can even type it in if the cursor is not working, which I usually do, about 0.02. That's a very small offset, and just click apply. Once the offset has been applied, it's very faint, but you can see on my layers panel that it is there. Key thing you need to do now is select all, select your offset and your image, and then click on flatten right at the bottom here. This will put your print and cut and your offset together, as you can see on my layers panel. I believe when I do this, it allows for a much better print and cut. I get a perfect print and cut whenever I do it this way. Whenever I'm creating t-shirts, I love to use this templates feature. This allows you to have a template for your design so you can see what your design will look like in 2D. It will give you an idea what it will look like in 3D. So at the top here, it says men's short sleeve. I'm doing a kids t-shirt, so I'm going to change it to kids short sleeve. And the size is like a medium large. So the sizes here aren't 100% accurate, but it will give you a rough idea. And the great thing is that these templates don't print out. They don't cut when you send it to cut on your Cricut machine. It's just solely used as a template. So it will only stay on Cricut Design Space as a template. And that is it. So now I've got my template where it needs to be. I'm going to hit this text button here. I'm going to write down what text I want to do. So if you're doing this, just write down what text you want to write. I'm going to say destined. and I'm going to position it exactly where I want it. And because I've used the template, it gives me a rough idea where I would want it in relation to my t-shirt, in relation to the other images as well. I usually always write my text first and then click font to pick the font I want. I'm looking for like a block type of font, but something quite kiddie and elegant at the same time. This one here, DTC, I'm loving the DTC fonts. I think this will go perfect with this project. So once you click it, then you click on the screen on your canvas and you'll see your font has changed. Your text has changed to the font that you have picked. I want to curve this text now. So to do that, you get it to the size you want. Usually try and size it before, and you hit this button at the top here. It says curve. You can curve inwards or outwards depending on where you turn the cursor. I want to curve it downwards. So I'll just turn the cursor, keep on pulling it until I'm happy with the amount of curve I've got. You can go and size it again. Once you've curved your text, you can size it to the size that fits your design. And then now I'm going in with another text box and I'm going to write greatness. But I like to mix fonts. I think when you have two different font combinations, it makes your t-shirts pop a bit more. It doesn't even really matter what font combinations you pick. I just like to have a go with them and see how they look together. But I'm looking for a more bold font because I want to write greatness and I want that to stick out the most. So I'm going to try this one here. So you click on the font that you want and then you click onto your canvas and that will allow the font to change. Yep, I'm really liking that because I want to add an offset to this and, you know, put some glitter HTV to make it look really nice and stand out. So I just size it to the size that I need for my template. You can always adjust this afterwards once you've measured your t-shirt. I like to change the color of my text to what my vinyl is going to be in. So this will be black. So I'm going to change it to a nice black color and add an offset to it. So offsets really make your words pop. So right at the top here on your toolbar, you see offset. You can move the cursor and drag it to make the offset as big or as small as you want. Or you can type in the dimensions. I want quite a small offset. Click OK, and I'm going to change the color of my offset. If you click on the advanced here, it gives you a bit more color options. It's going to be gold. I know I won't find gold on here, but I will just put the color in so I can have an idea of what it will look like. So this is totally optional, this step, but I go into my word, so I click on greatness and I go down to the bottom here, combined, and I select weld. The only reason I do this is once I'm happy with the placement, welding it is putting it all together, so you cannot change the text again, you cannot change the position. And I do this with Destin. This is totally optional. You do not have to do this, but it's just something that I do. So I know I've finished with that font or that text and I don't have to adjust it anymore. If you want to get your text looking a bit longer, what you can do, so select all. I'm selecting all because I have my offset and my words. Go up to the top. There's a padlock right at the top here. You click the padlock. Once you do that, you can elongate your text. You can make it longer. You can make it wider. You can distort the dimensions a bit better by pressing that padlock. I want it to be a bit longer, so I'm just here using the corner box to pull it down to make it a bit longer. Now that I'm done, I'm going to find one more image. I want to find some leaves. So I've clicked on images on Cricut Design Space, and they have so many different images you can go through. This is why I do use Cricut Access, because I've got all of these images at my fingertips. So I've decided to go with this one. Then you just click add to canvas and it will add directly to your canvas. I changed the size of it so it can fit the proportion of my t-shirt and place it where I want. Because I want two of these, I will just select on it and duplicate to get another image. Once I duplicate, so here you can just right click and duplicate. I want to flip it, so make it like a mirror image of each other. So you can flip horizontally and there you go. I'm going to have this as the same color as my offset, so the gold color. You can pick whatever colors you want to go that pick with your design. The green would look nice, but I feel like it may be too much of a color clash. So I'm changing my offset colour here again to more of a yellowy because it's going to be gold. I just like to see a rough idea what it will look like before I print it. And I'm going to put the leaves as the same colour as this offset. So click on the leaves, click on operation, and all your previous colours are there. So I'm just going to do the same with both of the leaves so I can see roughly what it will look like. Yeah, I'm liking this. This is looking really good. Once you're happy with your design, hit on make it. Don't forget to measure your t-shirt as well to make sure it all fits. So here I'm going to hit my material size, which is an A4 sheet of paper, just so Cricut can size it properly. And there will be no mirroring because I'm using heat transfer vinyl, the printable one. This one here now, I'm using heat transfer vinyl, just a normal gloss, so you have to mirror. So I hit on mirror on there. I don't change my matte size. I can if I wanted to. And for the glitter, I'm going to mirror as well. Very crucial that you mirror these two. The only one you don't have to mirror is the first one because it's going to be a print then cut. Once you're on here, you click on center printer because we're now going to send this printable image to your printer. So you don't need to connect your printer to Cricut Design Space. As long as your printer is connected to your computer, it will work fine. So hit center printer. I'm not sure why it didn't work the first time, and you'll be presented with this screen here. Ensure that you turn on bleed and you turn on system dialog. This will allow you to select your correct print settings, and then you click on print. Another window will pop up. Depending on what printer you use in your computer, the window might look slightly different, but all you need to find is preferences. It may be in a different place, but just look for preferences. Once you hit on preferences, we're going to go to media type. This is going to tell us to tell your printer what type of paper you are printing on. So under media type, you just find iron-on transfers because this is an iron-on transfer and it's the dark one. Most printers should have this. I've got 2 trays, so I'm just selecting the rear tray and then click OK. Once that is all set, you click print. Make sure you've loaded on your heat transfer paper, printable vinyl, whatever you are using into your printer. Your printer will print out. This is the crucial bit now to change your cut settings. I've got an Explorer Air 2, so I'm going to put my dial on custom. If you don't have that, you can go to browse all materials to find your cut setting. So I'm using this one, printable iron-on dark. This is the perfect cut setting. I'm going to show you how to find it if you don't know how to. Browse all materials and then you search it in that search place and you'll find it. Click on printable iron-on dark. You don't need to mirror your image or anything. So here is my cut. I'm using the Nina 3G Jet Opaque. It is my best printable vinyl that I like to use. There is one from HTV Ron. It's not as great, but it is a very close substitute to use. So my Cricut will firstly read the outer lines, the black lines on the corner, and once it is allocated those lines, it will go in and cut the design. So that's all cut out. Look at the colors, guys. And I've got a basic printer, Canon TS series printer, which was about £40–50 when I bought it. So you don't need a great printer to do this kind of design. And just weed it out. So I like to take out the outer part. So you just pull it off and you can see how good that cut is. It's absolutely perfect. I have got a video on how to calibrate your Cricut machine. So if you're not getting this perfect cut, I'm going to link it in the comments and in the description, how to calibrate your Cricut machine to get this type of perfect cut every time. And you can see I've done that slight outline, which makes it even easier. So now onto the black. So with the black or whatever color you're using, normal heat transfer vinyl, you've got to make sure that the plastic side is down. So I'm peeling it off here. You can see there's a bit of a plastic side on the bottom and then the vinyl is on the top. So this plastic needs to be down on your mat. I use my brayer tool as always because this allows for a perfect cut. And then I'm going to change my cut settings. My mat is quite not sticky. I do need to get a new one or wash it. So what I do is I use masking tape to just stick it down because I don't want it to start lifting when it's in the cut machine. I prefer to use masking tape because it's easier to lift off than sellotape. And yeah, that's the main reason why. So if your mat's not sticky enough and you don't have time to go and replace it or go and wash it, you can do this. So here I go onto my settings. I just use iron on, everyday iron on. You can see on my Cricut dial, it's on iron on. If you have a maker, you can just select everyday iron on. And this is the perfect one for this. I'm using this Wanza heat transfer vinyl. Absolutely love it. It is quite difficult to weed because it is very thick, but it is amazing on t-shirts. Now onto the final one, the glitter. You do need to change your Cricut cut settings again because iron-on will not cut glitter good. So use this one, glitter iron-on. You can find it in browser materials. I've just saved it into my favorite. You have to use glitter iron-on to cut glitter heat transfer vinyl, and it will ensure a perfect cut every time. I have kind of not kept this correct, so it's got so many air bubbles. Usually it's not like this, but it's been folded up in my box of all my supplies, so it's got kind of bubbly as you can see, but I'm going to try and make it work. Use my brayer tool to try and get out all of those bubbles and make sure it's stuck down properly, and going in with my masking tape again. This has to be shiny side down. If you're not sure which is the shiny side, find that plastic again, and the plastic should be down on your mat. So once you've cut all your pieces onto weeding, as I mentioned, this is this Wanza brand. I'm going to link it in the description. You can see it's quite tough to weed, but I've used other black heat transfer vinyls, and to me, this one is the best. So I will put up with that really stiff weeding because it's amazing, and it lasts so long. The longevity of it lasts forever. You can wash it at high temperatures, and it's still stuck onto the t-shirt looking brand new. So yeah, you can see it's quite difficult to weed, but once you get through it, it's fine. It's fine, guys. Just use sharp weeding tools. I'm using the Nicopar weeding tools as well, which are great. They've stayed sharp for so long. I haven't had to replace them at all. So done weeding, and this is what it looks like. So you can see why we had to mirror it so we can get it the correct way up. Don't forget to mirror. Like, I've made a mistake more than once. I think once you make the mistake, you realise and you remember to mirror. So here's the glitter. I'm going to show you how easily it weeds. Like, so easy. On that glitter iron-on setting, you won't have any problems with pulling off your vinyl from your mat. So easy. And guys, this glitter is super shiny. I got it from a website called MDP. Look at that. Only thing with glitter, if you don't have a light box, it can be quite difficult to see the cut line. So what I like to do is roll it. You can put baby powder on there. I like to just roll it, which really allows me to see the cut lines a bit better. And then once I roll it, it lifts up a bit, so I'll just start weeding. So onto my favorite part, using the heat press and bringing out my final design. So the first thing I'm going to press is the printable heat transfer vinyl. I lift it off of the paper. You can use a transfer mask, but I just do it this way. Next time I'm going to use my transfer mask. I'm going to show you a video how to use the transfer mask, especially when you've got loads of pieces of this vinyl. So stay tuned. Subscribe if you want to see that. So there it is. I just love this image, guys. The colours are really popping, really nice. This is my heat press. It's from Amazon. I've had it for years and it works amazingly. First thing I do is pre-press my t-shirt, finding the middle line. I pull it into half and I press it for about 5 seconds, no longer than that, just so I can see where my centre line is and also to take out any moisture that may be in the t-shirt. So you can see now when I put this down, I have now found my center line. So I don't use all of those rulers and, you know, all these fancy gadgets. So there, my center line's in the middle. So I know that's the middle of my t-shirt. And from where the sleeves are, halfway from the sleeves, going in, that's where the top of your image should be. You can use one of these rulers, which are great. So I just lay my image down and put everything where I want it to be without pressing it yet. You do have to be careful sometimes because your printable image, it can start heating up with the heat from the heat press and start sticking. So you've got to move quite quick. If you're not a very quick mover, what you can do, you can use tape, heat transfer tape. I will link that in the description. Take it off the heat press and tape it down to your design before you press. So I'm just want to see roughly where my image will go in relation to the black one as well. Sorry, I lost my words there. Yeah, so just heat press for about 10 seconds, no longer than that. You can set your timer on this heat press. I'm going to do a video on how this heat press actually works and how you set it down. I'll probably do about 5 seconds, to be honest, because I just want to tack it down because I know I'm going to be using it quite often. Here, I fold my vinyl in half so I can find the center line, and I can match up the center line with the center line on my t-shirt so I know it's in the center, because you know it looks nice when everything is kind of aligned and in the center. So I just put that down nice and firmly and making sure I'm happy with the placement. Always use my Teflon sheet. Teflon sheets are good because they protect your image, one, and they allow for even heat distribution. So you know the heat is just distributed really well within the Teflon sheet. It's better than using like baking paper or greaseproof paper, because that doesn't allow for even heat distribution. I do this for 10 seconds because glitter needs a bit more press than regular vinyl. And look at that, guys. It's looking beautiful already. Like, it's coming together. It's looking amazing. And I can peel off this one. Now, this is a warm peel. So once it's cooled down, I can just peel it off and reveal my design. You can see it's got like a nice luster to it, and it's very stretchy. So it will stretch with your t-shirt. So even if you've got a stretchy type of material, this vinyl will stretch with your t-shirt. That's one of the reasons why I love the Zwanza brand. And here's the glitter. Like, the glitter is just glittering. Like, wow. In love. Here I'm going to do an offset. So I'm going to get the black heat transfer vinyl that I cut before and layer it on top of the glitter. This can be difficult. If you're a beginner, I would recommend you not to put glitter down first, because it can be hard to press onto glitter. I stretch it a bit because when you heat press it, it does shrink slightly. So I just stretch it a tiny bit so I can line it up a lot easier. So when layering onto glitter, you do have to be a bit more patient. It's doable, but you just have to be very patient. Using my Teflon sheet as always, and I press for about 10 seconds. Once it's done, I wait for it to cool down. So this is about maybe a minute after. Once it's really cooled down, just take your time and peel it. If anything hasn't stuck down, go back in with your heat press and press it. So now I'm going to put down the little leaves, the gold leaves that I was going to put down. Just position them wherever you want to position and put your Teflon sheet and press just as we always do. Always remember your Teflon sheet. If you go in straight with your heat press, you are going to ruin your whole design. So be very, very careful at this point, because that's the worst thing. Yeah, right at the end, and then you do something and it ruins your design. So yeah, I think this placement looks good. It looks good. So yeah, let's press this for another 10 seconds again. There we go, all done. Then all you do is just peel it off. This is a hot peel. I love hot peel heat transfer vinyl because you don't have to wait. You just go in, peel it off, reveal that lovely glitter. And this is the final design, guys. Amazing, beautiful. If you like this tutorial, like it, subscribe. Any comments you're not sure about, I will reply to comments. And there you go, beautiful.